What's a day like in the life of Prince?
Work. I work a lot. I'm trying to get a lot of things done very quickly so that I can stop working for a while. Everyone's afraid I'm going to die.
You say you are afraid.
No, I'm not afraid.
Oh.
Everyone else is afraid. They think I work too much. I'm not afraid of anything.
So on the 29th of July, 1981, the Times' eponymously titled debut album is released. Although Morris Day provides lead vocals and shares a producer credit, the album is pretty much a Prince solo project. Prince wrote, produced and performed almost everything on it under his pseudonym Jamie Starr. The exceptions being After High School, which was written by Des Dickerson, and Cool, lyrics by Des Dickerson and music by Prince. Prince had so many ideas, genres and styles he wanted to explore that he needed to create other outputs to express them and to keep separate from his Prince projects. The Time were the first in a long line of side projects to accomplish this. Through the Time, Prince explored his funk side persona of Jamie Starr. The music on the Time's debut album sounded like Prince's Dirty Mind era, but with the emphasis on long funk workouts. Get It Up and Cool being the main examples, and also The Stick, which was co-written with Lisa Coleman.
Get it up, get ready for a real good time. It's just one simple rule, I'm just cool.
Elsewhere there are a couple of ballads with Girl and Oh Baby, and a pop effort with After High School. The album was a hit and did better than Dirty Mind, going gold in 6 months. It reached number 50 on the Billboard 200 and number 7 on the Soul LPs chart. It produced 3 singles, Get It Up, Cool and Girl. Get It Up reached number 6 on the Billboard Soul chart and was released 4 weeks before the album, making it the first ever Time release and the first single release by another artist to feature Prince. The second single, Cool, was released in the US and UK and charted on the Billboard Pop chart at number 90 and reached number 7 on the Billboard Soul chart. The final single, Girl, was released 6 months after the album's release and reached number 49 on the Billboard Soul chart. During the summer of 1981, Andre Cymone left Prince's band after their friendship had begun to deteriorate. Andre felt his contributions to the band's image and music had been neglected and also claimed Prince had stolen some of his musical ideas. Des Dickerson agreed with this view and claims that Uptown was basically Andre's song. The bass line of that song is based on something Andre came up with in a jam we did at rehearsal. I know that was the final straw for him. We jammed so much and it's so easy to pick up musical ideas and not remember where they came from, but it did reach a point where Prince would do it knowingly because he had stretched himself so thin, having to be the main source for all these spin-off acts he had planned. Andre also wanted to try and make it on his own as a solo artist. Prince replaced Andre on bass with Mark Brown, later to be known as Brown Mark. Mark lived in Minneapolis and was just 18 years old when he joined Prince's group. Prince had spotted him playing local Minneapolis clubs with his band Fantasy. On the 2nd of September 1981, Controversy was released as a single in the US a month ahead of the album. It only reached number 70 on the pop chart, but made it to number 3 on the black chart. And on the 5th of October 1981, Prince plays a special one-off concert at Sam's in Minneapolis as a warm-up for 2 show openings Prince was due to play for the Rolling Stones. What was supposed to be a secret dress rehearsal turned into a sell-out gig by word of mouth. The gig was also Brown Mark's first live performance with the band. The 45-minute set mixed older tracks like Why You Wanna Treat Me So Bad, Head, Party Up and Dirty Mind, with 5 new songs from the upcoming Controversy album, including Sexuality, Let's Work, Annie Christian and Jack You Off, whose title Prince didn't want to announce as his dad was present at the gig. 2 days later, on the 7th of October, The Time make their live debut at Sam's to excellent reviews and fantastic audience response. On the 9th of October 1981, Prince opens for the Rolling Stones at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, and what followed became an iconic part of Prince's early career. Prince and his band suffered their first major setback as sections of the 100,000 strong crowd pelted Prince and the band with bottles and abuse. Prince was bottom of the bill, and after hours of waiting by the crowd to see the Rolling Stones, Prince comes on in his trench coat, bikini briefs, and opens with Jack You Off. They were lambs for the slaughter. Prince stood and defiantly held up his guitar and stalked and strode the stage, but after 20 minutes it became too much. Prince walked off stage and flew back to Minneapolis. This experience had hurt Prince. Bobby Z commented, "Prince needs the audience's attention to perform, but their attention span was so short because they're paying so much for a ticket and they stand there for 8 hours before you play. We were the warm-up band," which is exactly what that says. Des Dickerson and even Mick Jagger tried to convince Prince to return for the second gig. Des said to Prince, "Let's not let some dirtballs throwing things at us run us out of town. Let's finish it up in spite of what they do." 2 days later, on 11th of October, Prince did indeed return for the second gig, but unfortunately it was even worse. The fans came prepared, and no sooner as Prince had taken the stage than a bag of chicken parts was thrown at them, as well as tomatoes, oranges, cans, bottles. Prince and the band only lasted for 3 numbers before leaving the stage. The experience had come as a massive shock to the system after riding a constant wave of positive reviews and critical praise on his fledgling career. This response was a smackdown on Prince's ego, and it certainly played a part in driving Prince on to become the huge star he was destined to become.
I just can't believe all the things people say. Controversy.
3 days after the Rolling Stones gigs on October 14th, Prince's 4th album, Controversy, is released. A musical outrage and a sincere statement of opposing views from Prince read a press release by Warner's for the album. Prince himself declined to do any interviews for the album, and although the album came and went without a single media statement by Prince, it almost doubled the sales of Dirty Mind, going gold in the US within a few months, reaching number 21 on the Billboard chart and number 3 on the Billboard Top R&B Hip Hop Albums chart. Controversy consists of 8 tracks and mixes up synth-heavy funk on the title track and on tracks like Sexuality and Let's Work. Elsewhere, we have one of Prince's best seduction ballads in Do Me Baby, which was originally written by Andre Simone. Elsewhere, we have pop efforts with Private Joy and the album's closing track, Jack You Off, which wouldn't have been out of place on Dirty Mind with its lyrical content, as Prince sings, "If you're looking for somewhere to go, girl, I'll take you to a movie show. We can sit in the back, and girl, I'll jack you off." Most interesting of all is the experimental track, Annie Christian, which sees Prince deal with a number of historic events, including the murder of John Lennon, the attempted assassination of then President Ronald Reagan, the Atlanta murders, which saw a number of young black youths and men murdered, and the nation's gun control issue, claiming them all to be the work of Annie Christian, Antichrist.
Annie Christian wanted to be number 1, but her kingdom never comes. That will be.
The title track Controversy sees Prince dealing with a lot of the questions and confusion the public had about his persona. I just can't believe all the things people say. Am I black or white? Am I straight or gay? Do I believe in God? Do I believe in me? Controversy. The reception by the critics of Controversy was far more mixed than the overwhelming praise Dirty Mind had received. One critic in the British press described the album, in Melody Maker, as a repetitive, jerky Bee Gees pastiche. Ouch! In contrast, Rolling Stone's Stephen Holden wrote, "It should come as no surprise that on his fourth album, Prince has made his inflammatory and explicit sexuality the basis of an amazingly jive but attractive social agenda." Despite all the contradictions and hyperbole in Prince's philosophy, I still find his message refreshingly relevant. On the 20th of November 1981, Prince begins the Controversy Tour, a 4-month tour of the US, opening in Pittsburgh and finishing in March '82 in Cincinnati. The tour presented a new image of Prince. Gone were the bikini underwear and leg warmers that had become Prince's trademark at the time. The trench coat survived, but was now worn with black trousers, a vest, bow tie and a white shirt, as Prince looked to present a more sophisticated show and image. The show was Prince's most extravagant so far, with a 2-level stage with fire poles, ramps, tiers and a huge backdrop made of Venetian blinds. The shows opened with a pre-recorded a cappella gospel track, The Second Coming, which still remains unreleased.
Before the second coming.
Supporting Prince were The Time and also Zapp and Roger. The setlist featured most of the songs from Controversy, apart from Ronnie Talk to Russia. A typical setlist was Uptown, Why You Wanna Treat Me So Bad, When You Were Mine, I Wanna Be Your Lover, Head, Annie Christian, Dirty Mind, Do Me Baby, Controversy, Private Joy, Let's Work, Jack You Off, and Sexuality. The tour took in mainly concert halls with a 3,000 to 7,000 seat capacity, but disappointingly for Prince, his hometown gig at the end of the tour at the Met Center, just south of Minneapolis, which had a capacity of 13,500, was barely half full. It was clear that many of the concert goers were not familiar with Prince's music, because he still had a very limited exposure on local radio stations. John Bream wrote about the show in the Minneapolis Star. An impressive show it was. The lighting and staging were strikingly imaginative. The band has matured into a crackerjack ensemble, and Prince left no doubt he is the most fascinating popular music figure to emerge in the 80s. High praise indeed, and as the Controversy tour came to an end, Prince set his sights on 2 new projects, putting together an all-girl group and recording his next album, 1999, which once released would see Prince begin his rise to mass-market appeal and pop superstardom. The days of a half-full concert arena were about to end.